there is an actual, real, practical, fact-based conflict going on here, which is an opportunity for the Republicans to reclaim or claim their right as the parents' party. Say, hey, we're not going to call you domestic terrorists. We're not going to champion surgery for gender confusion. We're not going to call your kids irrevocably racist. Take a page out of Joe's Handbook of Fear, right? Scare the crap out of parents.
There's Greg Gutfeld giving Republican politicians really bad advice. He wants them to lean into misogyny. He wants them to lean into policy proposals that control the lives and bodies of women. And he thinks it's a great idea in helping to gain power, accumulate power for the Republican Party. He must have missed the message involving, all of those Republican candidates who have done a 180 on their anti-abortion message after they realized that they were experiencing a massive dip in polling. Now, I love that he's giving them bad advice. I hope he continues. But of course, the advice comes along with a healthy dose of misogyny and sexism. Here's an example.
I remember when I was watching the protests after 2016 when Trump won, and I saw the protests. It was a lot of single women. It wasn't a lot of men. And the men there, they weren't exquisite specimens, let's face it. But I saw a lot of young, angry females. And the Democratic Party, in a way, has become the party of young, angry, single women, right? They place abortion before babies, right? It's their right to have convenience up to the birth. Abortion on demand up to birth. That is not a party for a family. So I think the Republican Party should focus on being the party for parents. It's right there. It's a real battle. The facts are there. Do it.
He says the facts are there. Do it. Send the message that the Republican Party wants to basically help government grow bigger to the point where it controls your body. It controls the decisions you make. It gets in between you and your doctor. He thinks it's a great idea. And what I loved about that statement, Cenk, that video, is, he wants to paint a picture of people who showed up to the Women's March after Donald Trump was elected. They were all ugly, angry women. I was at the Women's March in Los Angeles, along with my husband, and I can say without any problem that there were plenty of men there. And there were plenty of men who didn't look like Greg Gutfeld. They looked like this. And for him to be talking about people's physical appearances is pretty hilarious to me. In fact, why don't we put up that? Let's put up that. No, let's hold on that for a second. Okay. All right, I've had enough. Now we can go to Greg Gutfeld. So Greg Gutfeld, please spare me your commentary on how other people look. Just because you're on Fox News, surrounded by very attractive women, I will admit, doesn't mean that you yourself happen to be a good-looking guy.
Yeah, no, look, I think this happens to famous and rich people all the time. And Trump makes similar comments. You think Melania was interested in you, Donald, because of your looks? Here, I got a news for you. Is the money. Greg Gutfeld, now rich and famous on Fox News, probably thinks like, oh yeah, the ladies are interested in me because of I'm an exquisite specimen because of my looks. You're a joke, Greg. Look at you. I mean, Jesus. You still have eyes? Can you not see the mirror? All right, now look, I'm going to tell you why he said what he said and how he's screwing over the Republican Party in a second. But I want to just make two more notes before that. One is I want to correct it every time they do the lie about, oh, the Democrats want to allow abortions up to the minute of the birth. That's not what Roe says. That's not what Democrats are in favor of. Roe said that the state has an interest once the baby is viable, and in the third trimester, it would take extraordinary circumstances, which is basically the life of the mother. And they live in this fantasy world, as one of our members pointed out in an earlier show, where they think women, they just want to have fun and carry a baby for 9-10 months and then abort it at the end. Ha ha, so fun because pregnancy is such a blast. And at the end you go, pranked you. That's not a thing that happens. And they get their moronic viewers to believe that that's all the abortions. All the abortions happen right before birth. right? So, and then notice, by the way, Harold Ford Jr. I know I'm a political nerd, but he's was a Democratic congressman. He was one of the worst corporate Democrats. He was a total, utter sellout. And then, of course, after he left Congress, who hired him? MSNBC. Oh, here's beloved loser Harold Ford Jr. telling you how great the corporate world is. See, you vote for guys like Harold Ford Jr., not Bernie Sanders, okay? Not progressives. And where's Harold Ford Jr. now? Laughing like an idiot to Greg Gutfeld's jokes on Fox. Why? Because all he ever cared about was the cash, the money. Where's the paycheck? Oh, God, yeah, liberals are so ugly, right? Harold Ford Jr. All I care about is the money. But I don't say it about Harold. Who cares about Harold? It's every corporate Democrat. You think Claire McCaskill won't go on? All of them will go on Fox News afterwards. It's about the paycheck. Now, finally, to the most important part. So why would he say something crazy like this? Why is he attacking younger women, women in general? Because no young women watch Fox News. No, I'm being literal. I've seen their demos when I was at MSNBC. I beat them in 18 to 34-year-olds. You know why? Because they had no 18 to 34-year-olds, to be honest. They have no young people watching them, and young women, almost none. So he can insult them all day long, and it won't hurt his ratings at all. But what they do have is tons and tons of older men who watch Fox News. So Greg Gutfeld is not doing this to give good political advice to the Republican Party. He's doing it for his ratings. He's telling the old men in his audience, young women, women are terrible, aren't they? And they're all ugly, right? And the old men are laughing along, having a beer, and going, yeah, I hate women. And his ratings are going up. That's why he's doing it.
Yeah, they sound like they get laid a lot. In fact, I want to provide another example of some pretty disgusting stuff Greg Gutfeld said on that episode of the show. And in this video, he specifically attacks the appearance of the hosts over at The View.
My most fervent hope is that Republicans themselves will begin to reject all of that, kind of reconstitute the Republican Party to where it used to be, and not the, party of Trump, which I think is very dangerous to the country.
I will say this. When she's on The View, Dana, she makes all of them look more attractive. And I think that's important for her to be on the show.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
What?
Yeah. So, if we were to say something like that on this show, which we never would, there would be consequences. Our audience would hate it. And it wouldn't just be because our audience has women. The men watching the show would hate it as well because they're decent human beings. But yeah, you're right. He's got an audience that doesn't reject that kind of dialogue about, the appearance of people on The View. Wow, that's really great political analysis. You really nailed it. But that's Fox for you.
Yeah, his audience loves it. Calling women ugly, saying that young women are all angry.
By the way, so what?
Yeah,
we're angry. We actually have a pulse. Can you maybe consider? By the way, let me just note: the critique or criticism regarding anger is hilarious when you're a MAGA chud. Okay, yeah. MAGA chuds who were still angry as they were getting everything they wanted. Okay, I haven't seen an angrier political group in my entire life. And for the women who are angry, damn right we're angry. Okay, because we have a pulse, we see what's happening in this country, and Americans should be angry as the Supreme Court is stripping them of their rights, their freedoms, and their bodily autonomy. Okay, so yeah, we're angry, we're fired up, and we're coming for you politically.
Yeah, that's because they're trying to take your freedom away, your right to make choice with your own body, therefore government tyranny, therefore big government, and all those things. Meanwhile, why are the old men watching Fox News angry? Me want Trump to win. Me don't like that he didn't win. Me say Biden stole the election. Me throw feces against the wall. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, oh boy, me want to oppress other people. Me used to oppress other people all the time. Now me don't get to do it. Me have to live in democracy, throw feces against the wall. Okay, so there's different reasons why we're angry. You should look into you your reasons if you're a Fox News viewer and you should get therapy.